Hello, friends. Welcome to the book Meditation and Spiritual Life by Swami Yatishwarananda. Today we will learn about the worship of God. What do we mean by worship of God? What is our conception of God? In Europe, a devotee said to me, Swami, please never utter the word God. It calls up our childhood image of someone beyond the clouds in the heaven, ever eager to punish those who break his laws. I cannot think of that. I said, all right, use the word Ishvara. I use the word Brahma. If we worship God, we must feel our nearness to Him. We usually think of him as a creator, protector, and destroyer. He takes things back to himself, which we call destroying. But we should remember that he is much more than all that. He is the soul of our souls, nearer than the nearest, dearer than the dearest. But in order to realize this truth, we should first of all know that we are souls. We should know that we are the Atma, different from the mind, the ego, the senses, and the body. Without knowing that we are souls, part of any infinite spirit, we cannot know God, who is the soul of all souls, the Supreme Spirit. He comes to us as father and mothers. He comes to us as the guru, and he comes to us also as our Ishta Devata, the deity is chosen for worship. According to dualistic Vedanta, the most of us should start as a dualist, the soul and the oversoul, and the Atma and the Paramatma are ever distinct but ever connected. We should begin with the knowledge of the soul's eternal relationship with the eternal God. They are ever in union, yet owing to the impurity of our mind, we become attached to the Lord creation but not to Him. A great Western psychologist, seeing the way of ordinary religious people, once remarked, people do not want God. They only want to use God. They only want to pray to God so that He may fulfill all their desires. And if He does not grant their prayers, some become skeptical and say, oh, God does not exist. And even if He exists, He is deaf, He is blind, He does not respond. That kind of childish conception is not good. You want only the good God who always showers on you all that you ask for, as He has no other task but to grant you boons. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna worshipped the Supreme Spirit first in the form of Kali, a representation of the cosmic power. The image of Kali is symbolic that highly suggestive. With one hand she is creating, with another hand she is protecting. With the third hand, she is destroying, and with the fourth, she is holding a decapitated head. This is only a concrete representation of what the Upanishad speaks of the nature of Brahma. A son asked his father, Master, tell me about Brahma. And the father replied, realize that out of which all things comes into being, by which all things live, and unto which all things go back, that is Brahma. In our bhakti scriptures, we call Brahma by various names like Kali or Narayana or Shiva. In Vedanta, we call it Ishvara or Sat Chitananda. Satchitananda, infinite existence, consciousness, bliss. He dwells in our souls as souls of all souls. Again, we all dwell in Him. We must feel it, at least His nearness. If we cannot feel his nearness, we should try to develop the consciousness that he is nearer than the nearest, dearer than the dearest. As I have already said, for all this we need to have a correct conception of God, but God is too vast for our conception. I give an illustration. We are like small bubbles. The ocean is too big even for our conception. So, what should we do? We find some mighty waves. Let us move towards them, attach ourselves to them. Through them, in course of time, we get an idea of the ocean itself. Similarly, we start our spiritual journey with one such mountain like wave or Ishta Devata. We worship him, pray to him, and through all this, we come to have a higher consciousness and a broader conception of reality. The Ishta Devata tells us, look here, I may be a mighty wave. You may be a small bubble, but all of us have got the infinite ocean behind us. When the proper time comes, He reveals to us the highest truth. He reveals that He is none other than the infinite Spirit. Next topic is japa and meditation. We cannot realize the infinite spirit all at once. We must begin from where we are and follow a path that will ultimately enable us to reach that. Spiritual life is like mountain climbing. You have to proceed high and high, slowly and carefully. Swami Brahmananda says, take the illustration of a man standing in the courtyard of a house. He wants to reach the roof. But instead of climbing the staircase step by step, he permits himself to be thrown up bodily. What happens? He is seriously hurt. So it is with spiritual life. Don't expect to become a realized soul overnight. Begin with simpler things, japa. Repetition of the divine name is the most efficacious first step. But japa is not to be done parrot like. Patanjali says, as you repeat the divine name, do the arth bhavana. What is arth bhavana? Dwelling on the meaning. What is the meaning of the mantra? You find that as you progress in the spiritual life, you understand the deeper and deeper meaning of the mantra. First of all, let us think of the luminous, blissful form of the Ishta Devata. Then think of him as an embodiment of infinite purity, knowledge, devotion, compassion, love, and bliss. Then think that he is no other than the Paramatma, the all pervading spirit dwelling in all beings. We talk of dhyana or meditation. You say, I am meditating. What are you meditating on? Going on brooding over something or other. That is not what is implied by the word. Dhyana is the continuous flow of thoughts towards a high spiritual ideal in a high spiritual center of consciousness. When you think of Lord, you become absorbed in the divine thought, but this absorption will not come all of a sudden. Japa is a step toward that. Repeat the divine name, thinking of Him, then the mind becomes a little calm, and even the sound drops off. As you thus go on thinking of Him, the Ishta Devata becomes more and more real than the things of the world. Naturally, the mind gets absorbed in Him, and you gradually get a taste of the divine presence, love, and bliss. God may come to us as the Ishta Devata, as the Supreme Spirit, as a Sachidananda. infinite existence, consciousness, bliss. All this will happen if we undergo regular spiritual practice. In the beginning, it is good to have the support of a picture of your Ishta Devata. Gaze at the picture, concentrate on the picture. But it is much better to install the picture, the holy form of in your inner world. Then you do not have to depend on anything outside. Whenever you want, you can look within where your Ishta Devata is seated and pray to him. Repeat his name, meditate on him. First, it may be on his form, then on his attributes, next on his infinite Swarupa or nature. That is how one is to progress in meditation. We are asked to meditate on the lotus of the heart. Where is this heart? Is it the physiological heart? We cannot do anything there. What is the mind is the center of our inner consciousness that is felt in the region of the heart. It is the consciousness of our soul that permeates our body and mind. It is the consciousness of Atma which is non different from the consciousness of the Paramatma. It may be compared to space as it is contentless. Hence, it is called Siddhaksha. We have to meditate in this Siddhaksha. We have to think of ourselves as the devotee and think of the Ishta Devata as the manifestation of the Paramatma. Swami Brahmananda used to tell us try to meditate within the shrine of your own heart. What this shrine is will be revealed to you as you continue the practice. That is only true. Spiritual discipline is necessary in order to know what is meant by Siddhaksha or heart. At first, you may think that it is like Mahaksha external space. Later on, you may think of it is the cosmo-mental world. The real heart or the Siddhaksha is in the realm of pure consciousness. There, the soul, the unit of consciousness, is eternally united with the infinite spirit. You have to meditate on the Ishta Devata in that space in the heart. Let us go back again to the yoga aphorism of Patanjali, already referred to, wherein he tells us how to do japa. Repeat the word, thinking of the meaning, the content, the connotation of the word. What happens if we do that? Patanjali says obstacles are removed and a new spiritual consciousness awaken. With the help of japa and simple dhyana, obstacles are removed. How does this happen? We can explain it this way. We are always creating worries and anxieties, always creating evil thoughts. These evil thoughts disturb our mind and sicken our body. The more we think of holy thoughts, the more we repeat the holy word, and the more we meditate on the blissful form of the Lord, the more the mind is set in the abundant harmony. Illnesses self created drop off. When harmony is established in the mind, this harmony reflects itself outwardly on the body. So, mental health and to some extent physical health improve with the repetition of the divine name. And we come to know its power. With the power of meditating on the holy form, a new spiritual consciousness that was lying hidden, that was potential manifest itself, then we discover that we are not just these bodies, but we are souls. And that the East Devata is no other than the Paramatma. the source of supreme peace, supreme bliss, supreme love. Such is the power of divine name. Thank you. Tomorrow we will learn about spiritual life is a life of service. Till then, Namaskar.